Welcome to the course. The title on the screen is Salesforce MCP with Cloud AI and Claude Code, and that is exactly what we are going to do together. Over the next 5 modules and 14 episodes, I'm going to show you how to plug Claude directly into a real Salesforce org in two different ways. Through Claude AI and Claude Desktop for everyday business use, and through Claude Code for real developer workflows. This is hands-on from start to finish. It uses official Salesforce and Anthropic tooling, and by the end of today's foundation module, you will have a live working connection, not just a conceptual understanding. Let me set expectation for what done looks like here. By the end of this course, you will be able to ask Salesforce question in plain English inside Claude and get real answers pulled from your actual org without flipping between browser tabs, building throwaway reports, or digging through setup. On the developer side, you'll be able to use Claude Code to generate and deploy real metadata straight from a chat. And I want to stress the word real. This is not a toy demo, not a fake environment, and not some unofficial workaround. Everything in this course is built on official supported tooling. This course teaches exactly two connection paths, and I want you to be very clear about that upfront. The first path is Claude AI and Claude Desktop connected through Salesforce official hosted MCP server. That's the business user and the analyst path. The second path is Claude Code connected through the separate Salesforce DX MCP server from NPM package. That's the developer path inside a real Salesforce DX projects. Module 1 gets both of these connected for the first time, and the later module go deep on each one. They are not the same product configured two different ways. They are two distinct Salesforce offerings built for two different audiences. This course is not an Agentforce build tutorial. We are not going into Agent Builder. We are not authoring Agentforce topics or action, and we are not walking through Agentforce deployment pipeline. Agentforce is Salesforce's own native agent building platform, and it solves a related but different problem. It does appear once in this course, right at the end in episode 14, but only as a comparison so you understand when you would choose Agentforce instead of an MCP based approach. Other than that, one comparison episode, this course is all MCP from start to finish. Before we go any further, here's what you need. You will need a Salesforce Developer Edition org. Signing up costs nothing, and the org stays available as long as you log in from time to time. Second, a Claude.ai account. The free plan is enough for second module because it allows one custom connector, and one connector is all you need for hosted MCP server path. Third, and this is most important, module 3 requires Claude Code, and Claude Code is not available on Claude free plan. To follow that part of the course, you will need either a Claude Pro subscription at about $20 a month or Anthropic API billing setup. Let's jump into first hands-on setup. In the next few minutes, we are going to connect Claude Desktop or Claude.ai in the browser. If you prefer to a live Salesforce or using the Salesforce hosted MCP server, this path should take about 8 to 10 minutes, and by the end of it, we will run a real query against real Salesforce data. Before we touch the setup, let's make sure the product itself is clear. Salesforce hosted MCP servers are an official Salesforce product. They are generally available and they are included free on every developer edition org. You don't have to provision separate infrastructure and you don't have to pay an add-on fee just to try them. Any MCP compatible AI client can talk to them, including Claude, ChatGPT, Cursor, Slack. Postman, and others, all through one standardized connection. The security model is a key detail here. The server respects your existing field level security, sharing rules, and profile permission. Whatever the logged in Salesforce user can normally see and do, Claude can see and do, nothing more. So, what can these hosted MCP servers actually do? On the data side, they support full S-object CRUD, which means Claude can create, read, update, and delete records through conversation. On the logic side, Claude can invoke Apex, invocable action, call, or enable Apex method, hit Apex REST endpoint, and trigger flows. It can also run named or saved SQL queries, SOQL queries that an admin has already exposed as tools. The big idea is that all of this shows up through normal conversation. The user is not writing SOQL, not building JSON payloads, and not bouncing into Salesforce to click around. They're just asking for what they want. Here's the mental model I want you to keep in head. Cloud Desktop or Cloud.ai talks over MCP using OAuth to the Salesforce hosted MCP server. That server runs inside your Salesforce org, not on some third party machine you have to maintain. On every single call, it enforces field level security, sharing rules, and profile permission, and then it returns live Salesforce data. So the shape of the architecture is very simple. One connection, standard OAuth, and no middleware for you to stand up, patch, or babysit. Now let's see how we are to do it in Salesforce setup. We are going to create an external client app, not a legacy connected app. The distinction matter because as of Spring 26, Salesforce disabled creating brand new legacy connected app by default. So external client app are now the standard path going forward. So now let's jump into Salesforce. If I go to setup, I go to external client app manager. I have already created an external client app, but you can also create the same by clicking new external client app. When you create that, ensure that in the app policy, you select selected profile as system administrator because you want, as of now, for our demo, we want anyone with system administrator be able to access. Then in the OAuth policies, we say admin approved users are pre-authorized. In the settings, just make sure that, let's edit it to show you. You'll give it a name, then an email address. You will enable the OAuth, and then in the scope, you will give two scopes: perform request at any time, access Salesforce hosted MCP. Then ensure these two checkboxes are marked as true: require proof, key for code exchange, issue JSON web token. And after that, make sure that you click on this button, consumer key and secret, to see the consumer key and secret over here. So this is the setup that we have to do it in Salesforce. And also we have to make sure that MCP server, so if you go to setup and search for MCP, under API catalog, there are various MCP servers which are provided by Salesforce. As of now, I've just enabled this one, S-objects all. This is that particular server. It has got these tools. That means these are the functions that we can do or activities that we can do with respect to this particular server, it can get related records. So if you look over here, these all are pre-built where we can check what all actions this particular server, MCP server allows. So this is what it talks about. Create an external client app, then consumer key and the secret key. Now let's do this one. I'll open Claude AI. I'll say customize, say connector, add custom connector. I'll give a name, Salesforce. For the URL, let's copy this URL because this is that MCP server that we want to connect to. And I'm also going to copy paste the client ID and client secret. So this is my consumer key. This is my consumer secret. Say add. And now we'll try to connect to the Salesforce. Once I hit connect, Claude is going to this particular URL and we'll try to connect. So let's see the authorization is successful or not. So now Claude is connected. So over here, if I say connectors, so Salesforce connector is enabled. Now let's go back to presentation. So over here, this is what we were doing. We created the connector in Claude, provided the secret key. OAuth is now, and now this Claude is connected. So now we can, now let's see the payoff. Ask Claude a simple, realistic business question such as, how many open cases do we have grouped by priority? Let's see, let's ask this to the Claude. We are just selecting the Sonnet as the model. Claude will call the hosted MCP server, pull the live count out of Salesforce, and answer in plain English. And this is the important part. No SOQL was typed, no report was built in Salesforce, and no tab switching was required. That's the whole value proposition of this setup in one demo. So if you look over here, this is the response which came from Claude. It says that there are 2 open cases, medium, low. In total, there are 5. Let's go to presentation. Let's quickly recap episode 1. We created an external client app with the web server, OAuth flow, and PKCE, connected Claude AI to a live org through the hosted MCP server, and ran a real natural language query that returned live Salesforce data. 0 lines of SOQL typed, 1 connector used, very little setup, and a very real payoff. Everything so far has been business user path through Claude AI. In episode 2, we switched to the developer side and connect Claude Code to a Salesforce DX project using a completely different local MCP server built for coding workflows. So if you're following around, have your terminal ready because the next episode is hands-on from the very first slide.